IKEA in the
Should there be an IKEA in the Empire field? I can't make it any clearer than that.
I don't. For what purpose? For people to walk around and get lunch?
Hello! Ah, I've just seen your gigantic water jug.
Hello, everyone.
We've had a question. Oh, very ASMR. Do we want to address that question quickly before we get into actual Empire stuff?
What question is that? Sorry.
IKEA in the Empire field? Question mark.
I don't understand. IKEA in the.
Should there be an IKEA in the Empire field? I can't make it any clearer than that.
I don't. For what purpose? For people to walk around and get lunch? That's why I go to IKEA, is for the meatballs.
Just the meatballs.
Yeah. Well, I'd go there just to walk around as a bit of a day out. I say I go. I haven't been there for years. But I'd go to IKEA to have a walk around, and then we'd have the Swedish meatballs for lunch.
What about tent furniture? You can't get house furniture because houses are illegal in the Empire, as we know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Someone pack up an IKEA in a van and take it to Empire. I still don't understand it. But okay.
Very silly. I'm all for it. I think it will only create more space in the field that's definitely not already struggling for space.
It would create space because IKEA is king of storage solutions.
That's true.
And maximizing the small space.
Why don't we just put Anvil in an IKEA? Maybe we could message Matt P and be like, look, we found the site for you.
No, I don't want to ruin this, but I've already messaged Matt P that, and it was a flat out no.
Oh no.
Yeah, a few years back this was. So.
Well, at least someone's tried.
Strawberry says it will be their first time at Empire.
Oh, cool. Very
cool.
Exciting. Have you decided on a character yet? Because if not, this is going to be the episode for you, because we're going to go over character creation and stuff.
What a perfect episode to walk in on.
Jasmine Bibliophile, hello, by the way. Welcome in.
Tom's also mentioned in the chat about an anxiety dream about which, funny enough, I've had. And I think in the last couple of weeks, I reckon I've had 6 nights of Empire nightmares of not being ready or not having kit or something just not panning out on my way to Empire.
Knowing you like I know you, I'm sure that has spurred you on to get prepped in ample time before E1, has it?
Yeah.
And you definitely won't be doing it on the Tuesday?
No, absolutely not. So yeah, maybe it is my time. Maybe. But anyway,
let's get into it. We could do an anxiety dream, probably whole episode, and have people come on and tell us their anxiety dreams.
I have enough content for a whole episode on my own. Normally, it's about me forgetting my tent. So I'll drive 2.5 hours to Empire, get unloaded, and I won't have my tent or something. And then I'll be like, oh god, got to drive back again. So then I'll be another 2.5 hours back home, another 2, and then all of a sudden the event's gone, and I turn up on a Sunday morning, and all my time's gone. Or it's me missing senator elections. The amount of times I've been like, oh, it's Saturday night now. Oh, I just missed it. And if anyone knows me, that's the only thing I'm thinking about right now.
It's a very, very clever way of getting in that you're trying to become senator.
Oh, no. Oh, we can't talk about that. Yeah, vote for me. But no, that's my current thing, is just like, oh, yeah, no, you missed them, mate. And I'll be like, this is literally the only reason why I come at them. Anyway, so why are we here today?
You made me come here, Matt. I don't know why we're here. This is your stream.
Because we love LARP.
I'm going to let you run it. Do you know what? I've been thinking about the last few weeks, and I do enjoy LARP. I feel like you're the same as me in that I go back and forth. Like,
I love hate.
this is so much effort for not even a small payoff, because when I'm there, it's like an amazing weekend. But definitely at the moment, I don't know if doing these videos has made me like more buzzing for Empire again, perhaps.
Absolutely. I think we covered in the last video as well that you can have some real low points at Empire, and yet you keep coming back. So there's so far from my experience, any low point I've had is vastly outnumbered by my good moments. So I guess we'll talk about this episode, shall we? This stream, this episode.
What have we got in store?
So what we've got in store today. So we want to go through character creation, and we want to go start to finish on creating a character, right? So last video was talking about very brief explanation of what Empire LARP is in the world of Empire. So now we're going to character creation. So we're going to start with account creation, which I guess we don't need to talk too much about, but to make a character for Empire LARP, you do need an account with Profound Decisions. And to do that, you go on their website, and it's just a matter of an email address and a password, right?
Yes.
So, and through this account is how you make your character and how you pay for stuff, and all the information's on there when it comes to the site, when the events are being run and stuff like that. So I'll start from the very start, we will need to make an account. So again, we'll tick that box already because it's just a matter of an email address and a password.
What's the website?
Profound Decisions. Empire Profound Decisions. I should know. Yeah, Profound Decisions. Profounddecisions.co.uk.
I'm just trying to find. I made that link tree.
Yes.
Trying to find it.
So I will.
If you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be in the links below. But if you're in the chat right now, I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys. I've started making a link tree of useful Empire links. I think it's that. And I believe Profound Decisions is on there.
Should be. I've also linked the page in there because.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So
and you didn't share a Google link, so I'm very proud of you.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, and I can't tell you how I did it or why I did it. So so super basic. We've got the website there. You go on there and you can log in. So you just make an account like you do on any other thing these days. You've got to make an account. So you need to make an account, right, to play the game, because that's how PD tracks everything, which should be fine to everyone playing the game. I guess any issues, email PD, but you need an account. So once we create an account, you can go onto your account via the website, and we can go on to characters. It'll make sense, I guess, once you're on the website. But we go on to characters, and then through there you can create an Empire character, which is where we're going to be now. So once you click the Create an Empire Character button, you'll be taken to the screen. And this is the character creation screen. Apart from you've logged out by accident.
I've really done a silly there, haven't I? But we're logged back in again now.
Well, we were just showing how logging in and out works. Yeah, we're at the character screen. So what we're going to try do in this episode is just talk about every aspect of character creation, and maybe do a brief explanation on every aspect of character creation. There's a lot to it, so we're going to unfortunately have to keep it pretty brief.
Well, I think we're gonna do what we've planned in this episode, and if it goes over, then there'll be a second episode.
Yes, but the idea is we'll just try go through everything here, explanation about it, and kind of briefly go into it, just so you've got a good idea. If so some of the people in the chat, if you haven't, and you'll go into the event and you haven't made a character, or you're thinking of making a new character, jump on the website now and sort of follow along with us. That could be helpful. Sorry. So I guess the first thing we're going to start with, right, is if you can see on the stream, you've got the welcome page to, and this sort of just explains, I guess, how this character creation works. Cheers, fairly, like this is a good thing. What I like is what they've done with this. I think it's very understandable and digestible.
Yeah, I agree. I obviously not to jump all the way through the wizard, but I think it's very straightforward in making a character, from the absolute novice to obviously veterans.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing we're going to look at, which would be probably the starting point for a character, will be nations, right?
Yep.
So,
ta-da!
And that's as simple as it is. You click the little nation tab, and what you're going to have here is like a spinny wheel. Should be a spinny wheel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Spinny wheel, and that's all different nations. And you're going to have a very brief description down there. But another very handy thing that they've done with this character creation thing is if you've got the little question mark. So anything you're looking at. Sorry, I've got a bit of a tickly cough, so I'm going to be coughing a bit, especially after I chat loads. So if you click that little question mark, it will take you to the Wikipedia relating to that. So that's a really handy thing to have.
It's a little bit cut off on the stream because of the way I've propped stuff, but
yep,
you get the gist of it. Anytime you see a question mark in the wizard, give it a little click and it'll take you to the relevant section in the wiki of that thing. Which
is extremely helpful for skills and stuff like that. Because skills will go through, but you can just click that and boom, you're at the wiki, which I found very helpful for skills when I've been selecting characters, making characters and stuff. So this is probably one of the biggest questions to sort of deal with right now, and that is the nation. Now, I guess before we go into this, it's always remembering that, or it's worth knowing that, yes, you're making a character. If you go to your first event and it's not for you, this character, you can change character, you know.
Yes.
We can go ahead now, if we have the time, we could go create 2 or 3 characters and store them on your account. Once a character is active, you can't swap between characters. That character's either has to die or retire before you can take on another character. So you can't sort of have 3 characters on your account and bounce between them. You need to be playing one character until they are no more.
And you can't go back to a character if you've retired it.
No, you can't go back to it. Yeah, so they're gone. Which I understand why they do that. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is, obviously, we're going to make a character now. It could be your first character or your 5th character. You know, if it doesn't work out, you make a new character, start again. Yeah. Or if it's your first event, email PD. They're very handy with stuff like this. Email PD. They're very understandable and they'll help you. So, but I guess first things, let's choose a nation before I.
Yeah, I mean, we may as well. Shall we go round the wheel from where it starts? So we'll start with Brass Coast. What we're going to do is we're going to use the wiki to read out the 5 things to know about each nation, and a couple of things as to what they're not. So there are some stereotypes and things to avoid for each nation.
Which again, if you're on character creation, I know we've already gone through this, but clicking that question mark, you'll be taken to the page of the nation, and that's going to have a bigger description of what the nation is, as well as, you know, a lot more in depth when it comes to the nations. So we're going to be skimming it, but if you're following along with us, then just click those question marks.
The other big thing to mention about the wiki, especially to people who are like probably you and I, Matt, in that we don't digest information very well from just written down on websites to the brain. You don't need to know anything really at all about Empire or anything on the wiki when you attend an event. You can learn everything there is about Empire in the event, and there's absolutely no requirement to know anything beforehand. However, I would say it's probably worth looking at the nation you're going to play, just for a basic understanding of what your culture and customs are like, and obviously look and feel for kit and stuff. But yeah, by no means don't be intimidated by the wiki, because it is a flipping lot of info.
It's a lot of info. I think it's definitely worth going to your first event, at least, if there's something you're thinking about, just look it up on the wiki. But yeah, you're not going to be quizzed on the door and not allowed entry if you don't know all the virtues or all the, exemplars or something like that. So, but yeah, and there's a lot you can learn in the field. And in theory, like, I guess between the Anvil library and stuff, like, I imagine the majority of the wiki has been printed and put into book form and is sat in the field somewhere. So
that would be fun though, if when you get to the gate you have to answer a question about Empire.
I probably wouldn't be allowed in most of the time.
Well, no, it wouldn't stop you going in. But if I was on the gate, just to liven it up a bit, I'd be like, right, who was the 14th Emperor or Empress? I don't know. I don't even know if we've had that many. I've already forgotten the amount of emperors and empresses that the Empire's had. But just as an example,
it'd be fun. That's why our Empire-themed quiz night was fun that one time.
Oh yeah, I thought you were about to promote a future Empire quiz stream that doesn't exist. Just then,
no,
you can run that.
There's no worry there. Right.
Tom will run it. We'll get Tom on to do it.
Tom ran the last one, didn't he?
As Lenny.
So yeah, do we want to do a brief talk about the Brass Coast then, and then we'll just go around?
How do you want to do this? Do you want to alternate? So you do a nation, I'll do a nation.
Yep.
Or I'll do a nation, you do a nation, whichever way round we want to do it.
I'll start with the Freeborn then, I guess. Okay. So, the Brass Coast is the nation. They're known as the Freeborn. Apparently, you can't call them Brass Coasters, and they don't really like it, even though I do it all the time. And I was told, like, "Oi, stop calling them Brass Coasters. They're Freeborn." So, yes, the Freeborn. They are notoriously candid, according to the wiki, brazen in person, and disarmingly frank in negotiation. They are never afraid to speak their mind when they want to. All things can have a price as well. The Freeborn believe the fairest way to reckon the worth of something is to put a price on it. So it's quite common, them obviously always wanting to pay for stuff, right? I've seen it before. Or maybe if you're asking for something, a price for something, and they think it's worth more, they'll probably give you more, which is I guess quite a fun thing for a roleplay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the prize, they prize freedom and responsibility and disdain arrogance. The Freeborn philosophy is that society is best served when every individual is responsible for themselves and to themselves. This is another cool one. They crave adventure and excitement, none more so than their corsairs, who are the terror of the high seas.
Pirate stuff.
They like agreements to be explicit. The Freeborn like everybody to know exactly what has been agreed to. Sorry. I guess this goes back to sort of the contracty things, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's the sort of 5 things to know about the Freeborn that's on the Wikipedia. We'll just cover the couple of things that the Freeborn are not. Also, you might find people are chucking in the chat about what they think I should mention as well, which I haven't.
Yeah, so, definitely. If there's any veteran LARPers in the chat that want to add anything about any of the nations we're talking about, definitely throw them in. Obviously, we've only played Wintermark, so not saying that our Wintermark knowledge is going to be amazing shortly, but we definitely don't know everything there is to know about any of the nations by far.
And I would probably say the Freeborn or the Brass Coast are probably one of the most colourful on the field as well. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
very, very nice clothing. Obviously, you've got the photo there or the picture up on stream of sort of what they want them to look like. They look really cool. Really, really nice clothes and colours and stuff. So I guess I'll finish on what the freeborn are not. They are not desert dwellers. Grassy plains, rocks, mountains, and shipboard on the ocean are where the freeborn live. So yeah, they're not sort of desert caravanners.
No.
Which I guess leads on to they are not dodgy camel sellers or slave traders. Freeborn traders are upfront and scrupulously honest. They're the very opposite of the stereotype of the sort of wheedling trader. They are.
Yeah, so they're not
yeah.
they're not like
not
shady
slaves.
dealers or anything
Yeah.
like that.
No, they're yeah, which kind of goes back to the 5 things they
Yeah.
are about, which is, everyone's a bit of transparency with the deal, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah. Obviously,
they're
the exception to that is the Festival of the Broken Wheel, which happens once a year, where everything is.
It's like opposite day, right?
Yeah, kind of like opposite day / sort of like trickster day, isn't it? Like they just get up to silly, but basically don't get up to any business with the freeborn because they just do silly business.
They do silly billies.
Yeah.
Here's a cool quote on the Brass Coast page: "Life is short. Let it never be dull."
Ah, I like it.
So if you're going to be a freeborner, maybe live by that. Or yeah. So that's very, very my brief take on the Brass Coast. Again, please go check the Wikipedia out don't take that as what they are, because I probably did a terrible job of it, even though I did just read the wiki. But go check the wiki out, and there's a lot more to that. That's just the brief bit on the page. There's obviously the people of the freeborn, where you're going to have a breakdown of multiple archetypes and stuff like that, as well as the culture and customs and their look and feel and stuff like
that. I think it would be very fun to play Brass Coast. I've only had enjoyable interactions when I've come across them or into their camp in the field.
Yeah, I find myself in their camp at least a couple of times a day during the weekends at Amble.
Yeah. Apart from that tea you had, actually, that didn't go down well, did it?
I had some bubble. They were serving bubble tea, and it didn't agree with me for some reason.
Yeah, mine was fine. Mine was all good. But I think it's where the silliest things have happened to me at Empire is definitely in the Brass Coast camp.
Enjoyable, silly.
Yeah, blindfolded knife fights, greased up veto. That was particularly funny one. That was Johnny from ILARP, for anyone wondering. I don't even know what we were doing, but basically he came running past. He was in like an adult not an adult nappy, but he was in just like those kind of pants. Like, I don't even know how to describe them, but yeah, basically greased up, and everyone was chasing him, trying to catch him. And what more can you want from an Empire event, really?
Yeah. So that's the Brass Coast. Do we want to flip on to the next one? Do you want to pick one, or do you just want to pick the next one?
I'll just go. Well, the next one is Wintermark. I don't know if you'd prefer to talk about Wintermark. If not, I'll go the other way. Okay. Wintermark's pretty good, I'd say. A bit biased, but we both started in Wintermark, and neither of us have left Wintermark. So I pretty enjoy it. It's the one that stood out to me most first when I was making a character. Reveling in battle, the indomitable winterfolk stare down every threat with their heads unbowed, for they know that death is only the long sleep before the dawn. Here we go. Three people, one nation coming in the chat there.
Yeah,
that's our nation chant for anyone new and wanting to get involved in Wintermark. You've got to learn 3. You've got to say one nation if someone says 3 people,
because it will be most meetings at Moot. It's said about 15-20 times. Yeah. Shouted. So it's yeah, it's a very, very common phrase to hear in Wintermark.
It really is. But it's one that you have to learn. Everyone's taught it probably at the academy if they're in Wintermark. Actually, interesting question. At the academy, I don't know if it's interesting, but it'll be interesting to me to know. Do they just how do they teach the children? Do they teach them about each nation, or do they split them into the nations in classes?
I think it just teaches them about the general, I don't know, empire, imperial knowledge rather than I you know, I don't know. I honestly couldn't say.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, 5 things about Wintermark. Scions? I don't actually know how to pronounce it. Scions? Sired by a storm, essentially, is the first thing. Wintermark is a harsh land. Mastering it has made us strong. So, geographically, Wintermark's generally north, isn't it? I think we're one of the most southernmost Wintermarkers, where Birchen Hall is.
I guess so. Geographically, you could say the Brass Coast is southern area. I guess in a warmer climate, and Wintermark's more northern, which is in a colder climate.
Yeah.
Probably should have said that. So that's why I guess the Brass Coast are a bit more sort of cooler clothes, and Wintermark's very furs and.
Yes, but it doesn't always track because some nations have random territories elsewhere. But we'll get to that when we look at territories one day, I guess.
Yeah.
Hero's tale ends with a good death. We glory in battle, we stand tall, and we do not skulk from danger. Big into fighting, but not for. I mean, it says we glory in battle, but I don't think that's.
I guess it's fighting for purpose, right? They don't. Is it kind of good to die in battle, just not.
It's good to die a good death in battle, yeah. Not.
Yeah.
No 1v1ing or silly heroic nonsense. Look after your kinspeople that are fighting with you, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cold cannot compromise. Do not compromise even with ourselves. Not even age or injury turn us from our undertaking. So we're very focused on if we have goals or ambitions and things like that. We strive to do them, even if we're 102 and we want to go out fighting. We'll go out fighting. Somebody's put this in the chat, I think. A hero has a name. That is actually one of the 5 things about Wintermark. I didn't realise that was one of the 5 things. And
important thing.
I always hear it shouted on the field. All the time. We prize individuality. Yep. Your name is the beginning of your story. Mm-hmm. And 3 tiers entwined. The 3 peoples of Wintermark are indivisible. They live together and fight as one. So if you're looking to join Wintermark, we have 3 different
traditions.
3 different traditions, yeah.
3 people.
1 nation.
Thank you. There it is.
And I've only got one thing under what the Winterfolk are not, and that is explicitly we are not Vikings. Don't be a Viking. Don't bring Viking things.
No horned helmets. No
Thor's hammers. No. We are much more aligned to Saxons and the Rohirrim from Lord of the Rings.
I honestly think Vikings quite a big inspiration. It's just not Viking iconography sort of stuff, right?
Yes, yeah, nothing that would be immersion breaking.
Yeah, but I think yeah. I'll ramble about that, but so I won't.
Yeah. There are no long ships, raiders, or horned helmets, and Thor and the Norse pantheon are actively excluded from the brief.
Yep.
That's Wintermark. I'm sure. I can't remember if we said, but the idea is to do a deeper dive of each nation with somebody from that nation in the future, which would be cool.
I think we've got a couple lined up already, haven't we? So just when that time comes, then we'll be ready to go.
Yes, we have already got. Wintermark will be easy to find because we know a lot of Wintermarkers. Dawn will be easy. Marchers done. Tick, ready to go.
Navarr potential tick ?
Yes. Yep, another potential. But we will we'll have to look at other nations like Urizen and Varushka and stuff. I don't know. I don't think I know anyone from Varushka or Urizen.
We've bumped into the Mero Urizen quite a few times.
Yeah.
So
speaking of Varushka,
is that the next one?
The next one's Varushka, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I thought it was Urizen for some reason. Okay, I'll talk about it. So Varushka, I guess they're again a northern territory, north and eastern territory, so cold and
Let's check.
furs. I've checked. Don't worry. I've got a little map up.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure we say where they're located, just because. So yeah, another northern territory. I guess I'll talk about this bit here, which I didn't last time. So Varushka. Varushka is a land of hard lessons and dark tales. The Varushkans are unyielding and uncompromising. They do what must be done to keep the empire strong. Yeah.
I didn't realize what the picture was until I just looked at it
Yeah.
on the stream. But yeah, there you go.
I can't think. Is that the Wassail? Is that Wassail?
Isn't
Yeah.
it? No,
no, it's not.
that's Marcher, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, I can't remember this one. So this is a
Tom or Sam will know.
This it will tell us. It is. It doesn't tell us. Okay. Anyway, this is a Varushkan sort of
The Zoria parade. It's the Zoria puppet.
Yeah, so it's like a seasonal event for Varushka.
Or Zoria. Zoria.
I've seen something like that about. I'm not sure if it's that exact one, but I've seen something like that about, which is very cool. So I guess 5 things about Varushka. Do not let your eyes fool you. Appearances are deceptive. Take nothing for granted. So, something to live by if you're a Varushkan. Respect your elders. The old possesses wisdom that you will need to survive here. Bit gloomy, but fair enough. Do not leave the road. Only the human inhabitants of this place wish you well. Breaking the rules can have terrible consequences. This is another really interesting nation. It's not something I've looked into, but quite a few mates of ours quite like Varushka, don't they? So
yeah,
maybe I need to put a bit more time into learning about it. Prepare for difficult choices. Often the only choice is the lesser of 2 evils. Do not tolerate fools or wastrels. Tolerance builds complacency and invites disaster. So Varushka to me just sounds like a bit of sort of no nonsense, right? No nonsense and stick to the plan.
Yeah.
I guess this goes back to their sort of keeping the empire strong sort of thing. Maybe they feel like they're the spine of the backbone of the empire, and they've just got to knuckle down and get on with it, perhaps. So what the Varushkans are not, they are not evil. The Varushkans can be authoritarian, uncompromising and intolerant, but they are law-abiding, not sadistic, bloodthirsty or cruel. Their rule is hard, but the real monsters lie outside their walls. And they are not Cossacks, of course. Varushka draws on Eastern Europe and Russia, but it is also inspired by Germany, dark fantasy, and Brothers Grimm, which is cool. The Cossacks are stereotypes that accompany them, are not part of the setting, which is strange because Cossacks, they were part of Russia, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and I feel like they've chosen it for a reason. I will not argue with PD. Fine, they're not Cossacks. So Russia's another real cool one. Yeah.
Yeah, I like you said, a few of our friends are thinking about Varushka as the next destination. And I don't I guess like you, I've not looked into it enough, but I really enjoy their night market, the Varushka night market. I think that's a cool little thing that they do once a year.
They I was gonna say I find a lot of them choose to speak with sort of a Russian accent as well.
Yeah, I would love to do different accents at most of my LARPs, but the only one I've managed to do so far is for Second Breakfast, the halfling themed LARP, ILARP, was just a really exaggerated Somerset accent, like, all right, my loves, etc.
That segues into the march. No, yeah. guess I'm going to finish with reading the quote from the wiki for this, which is for Varushka, which is "Bar your door and do not open it before sunrise."
Ah, I didn't read the Wintermark one, but people were saying it in chat. It was the storm could never break us.
Storm can never break us. Yeah. So that's Varushka. So yeah, obviously very brief. Maybe we're not doing it enough justice right now, but we will do. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the individual episodes of each nation because we're going to learn some stuff.
Yes, absolutely, we will definitely. Right, so you've got you got Urizen.
Have I? Oh no. Okay. Well, I was going to say I dodged a bullet, but I'm sure it would be an amazing nation to play. I've just never been drawn to it at all. Never interacted really with anyone from Urizen. But it almost got voted for my next character to be Urizen. So this was second place to Dawn. Having said that, they're quite magic-y. I do like the magic side of Empire, so I think I would probably enjoy doing it. But yeah, Urizen is a nation of magic where magic is king. It is a nation that understands that a single individual can change the world if they have sufficient will to do so. Which sounds cool. And Sam in the chat says Urizen's very, very cool as a brief.
I'm right in thinking Urizen sort of borrow from sort of elvish fantasy elves. Has it got that sort of, or am I just thinking of their armor?
Yeah, so we'll get to that in what they are not. I've just noticed it actually says what they do draw inspiration from. But
okay, I won't jump there.
Yeah, we'll find out shortly. But 5 things to know about them, if we were to do it in a nutshell. They study magic as the highest discipline. Not everyone is a magician, but in Urizen, magic permeates everything. So even if you're in Urizen but not magical, I've seen Urizen from afar, and they look like they're all magical mages types. I don't know if anyone plays a non-mage in Urizen. I'm sure somebody does. I think they have a small band of fighters, don't they?
I'm thinking someone was saying their fighting sort of setup can be quite powerful. I can't remember someone.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyway.
They live their lives by reason. Rationality and logic are the tools with which they pick apart the secrets of creation. They aspire to mastery of themselves and the world around them. They prize personal excellence and seek to build a better world for everyone. So, as I'm reading this, I'm feeling like they're like artificers. I can't say it. But like they're really into magic, and magic is the be all and end all.
Tolkien elves.
Pardon? What did you say?
I was saying they come across like Tolkien elves.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. They value elegance and precision, so yeah, definitely. The best course of action is the one that produces the biggest change with the least effort. And education is the greatest gift. People who understand the world are simply better than people who do not. So there's an element of arrogance there, I would say.
The elves.
I would love to play an elf in anything, but I know this doesn't matter, but I feel like I'm definitely not the correct height or shape to pull off the elven look. And I'll get backlash for that, because rule one of cosplay and anything like this is like you do what you want, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing it justice.
I mean, you do what you want if you're comfortable doing it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, then you don't do it, I guess.
Yeah, true.
That's it.
Here's what the citizens of Urizen are not. I've just realised that we're not getting pictures as I read this, but that's fine. I'll bring some up in a second. They're not pacifists or procrastinators. They are reasonable people, but are quite prepared to fight to get what they want. They're just likely to consider for a moment if violence is the best course of action before they attack. There we go, little picture. They are not Asian or East Asian. Urizen draws inspiration from High Elves, which we mentioned, Classical Greece.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
And societies of wizards, but not directly from Asia or East Asia. Which I don't. This must have come out of something previously where people maybe were leaning towards.
I think this does ring a bell, but I
Asian
don't know.
elements, but I haven't seen any of that in play, so
I would say more, sort of high elves to me.
yeah.
And classical Greece, I would say that definitely.
And they are not unarmed combatants. When the Urizen think of martial skills, they think of weapons. Wrestling or even touching your enemies is a distasteful idea. Much better to keep them at bay and overwhelm them with your consummate weapons skills than let them get close to you. So that's briefly touching on the fact that the Urizen don't like to touch.
Yes, I'm trying to quickly find that because
it's probably in culture and customs, maybe.
Yeah, I went on
privacy and politeness. But we'll cover that, I'm sure, in greater detail when we get to the Urizen episode. It's not actually anything about it. Maybe I'm getting that wrong.
No, I think you're right. But I guess that just goes down to them not liking.
Here we go. Urizen bow to others as a mark of respect rather than shaking hands. A handshake is a greeting between close friends, while a hug or embrace is rare except among lovers, trusted confidants, and close family members.
Yeah, Sam was just saying it's been reworked a lot recently, so.
Okay.
But yeah,
a cheeky update. Yep. They were feeling a bit unloved, so they had to update it. And before I move on, I won't forget this time the Urizen quote, which I really actually really like. Where there is darkness, we will make light.
My elves.
And there was light.
And they are located southeast.
Behind you somewhere.
Behind me. So I guess I'm on Navarr. I'm going to say there a couple of quotes before I go into it. Actions have consequences, and Navarri fighters thorn. Whatever that means. Well, thorns are a Navarri word they use all the time, right? So I guess the Navarr, they're dotted all around over the place, right? When it comes to map location, because they sort of live more. They're more woodlands based. So they I
know that IC, Lucan and Rydar had to run across the Empire from. Well, we were in Mitwald, which is Marcher territory. We had to run across the Empire to Tharunin. I think that was the Navarr place that we went to.
Yeah, that's right.
And we had a week to do it. And Tom worked out that it would have taken us... We would have had to have run non-stop for 7 days, 24 hours a day, at 27 miles an hour, I think. to have got there from where we were to where we were going. So they are kind of spread out.
Here's my thinking, right? So the way they explain travel in Empires, they've got like magical roadways, right, which help speed you up so you can get to places quicker.
The Trods.
Am I right at Trods? Am I right in thinking that's part of the Navarri sort of background? They were something to do with that.
I am probably completely getting it wrong, but I think they were the first people to walk out the Trods. And
did they pathfind them or so? Okay, yeah. Well, I mean that's for another day, but yeah. So, I guess I'll read the 5 things and the things they're not, and then maybe we'll talk about briefly what they are. They love face paint to start with.
Yeah, tattoos.
Love a face paint. Yeah. Right. So 5 things.
That wasn't one of the 5 things then.
No. I was just saying they love face paint. It might be one of the 5 things. I was trying to think about like a brief what I think about the Navarr. So I was like, and then I started reading something and got distracted.
We're going to call that feature Matt's cheeky bonus.
Yes.
And I want one for every single nation going forward now.
So the Empire is our home. They travel the Empire carrying messages, information, and people across the land. That's the Navarr. Survival is change. Their lifestyle is one of constant change as they travel the wilds and they adapt accordingly. Actions have consequences. The Navarr take the long view. They are often magnanimous and they see their actions in terms of the effects they will have in years to come, not just today. That's a wise thing. So they think ahead, which is good. You cannot betray your enemies. The Navarr are fierce in battle. They don't let sentiment get in the way of finding practical solutions to their problems. So I guess that's where they get a bit of a reputation about them, right? You cannot betray your enemies, where they can be quite cutthroat in certain aspects of things.
Oh, yeah. Bloodthirsty.
Maybe that's where that's coming from, Enemy's an enemy. Whereas the Wintermark are they try to be quite honourable in battle. The Navarr, like, for example, Wintermark, it's very shunned upon to potentially execute people on the battlefield, or orcs or whatever. Whereas I see Navarr all the time just slitting throats. So, yeah, or they're doing naughty things. Maybe they shouldn't be doing that, but that's what I see anyway, and that's what I take from that. Tread carefully in wild places. The Navarr are vigilant to the dangers of the world they travel through. What the Navarr are not. They are not uncivilized or outcasts. They may not possess all the trappings of civilization now, but they once did. They helped form the Empire and see themselves as an essential part of it. They are happy to use practical innovation of the Empire. They are happy to use any practical innovation of the Empire, so long as they can travel with it. Their somewhat brutal practicality may shock members of other nations, but it's born out of necessity, not ignorance. They are not animists or nation worshippers or Celts. The Navarr are adept at living in the wilds, but they do not romanticize that lifestyle, and they take a dim view on those who do. Their cultures bears a few similarities with some Celtic mythology, but there are no triple goddesses, no wild hunt, no wholesale lifted Celtic myth, and the Navarr have their own stories. So I would say I see quite a bit of inspiration from Celtic stuff, just from what I've seen, but I guess that's done in a way that it isn't breaking that sort of boundary. Or they're not Celts, but like, for example, the face, like the makeup and like the face makeup and sort of almost like war paint, which looks great. Is it technically paint, or is it in theory tattoos? I can't remember now. I think it's
supposed to be tattoos, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, because tattoos are a massive hearth magic of Navarr.
Okay, I didn't know that, but yeah. So, yeah, that's Navarr. And like I said, location-wise, they're dotted throughout the Empire in sort of wooded areas, right?
Yeah. Also, chat has explained the founders were called Navarr and Thorn, which is why it's Navarri Fighters Thorn. Just to answer your confusion earlier over the saying.
I was confused. Right, you got the fun one next.
Have I? The fun one. Marches! This is the one that I'm almost secondly drawn to after I'm done with Wintermark and now Dawn. I would love to play the marches. It's basically us from the West Country, and that's it. They're kind of like fully sized hobbits, I would say, aren't they? That's how I think of as marches.
Well, from our experiences and the people we've spoken to, they're very like that. I don't know if I would say they're all like that, but yeah,
it's certainly not.
We just know some very jolly, happy marches.
The marches that we mix ourselves with definitely make me want to be a marcher for sure. A marcher. There we go. I was going to say the catchphrase. It's not the catchphrase, is it?
Location-wise, then, I guess they're sort of in the middle. They're not top. They're not bottom. They're sort of middle west, right?
Sure.
That's where Breaker's Land, Midworld, Upworld, Moonworld.
I'm not fantastic at real life geography, let alone. I know all I know is we're roughly here somewhere on the left hand side. I realise people can't see my mouse, but yeah, you've got the map. Although I can see Breaker's Lands over here.
Yeah, that's it.
And
that's
Midworld. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I've got another map which is broken it into colours per nation. So I've just sent it to you. So if you wanted to look at it, but anyway,
homework for me.
It's a Google link. So.
5 things about the marchers. Here we go. Land matters above all else. Control and ownership of the land influences every aspect of marcher life, most especially politics and magic. And I have recently learned that when voting for senators, it's anyone with a farm, I believe. We have a marcher who's just joined the chat. They might be able to confirm for us, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Any marchers in the chat?
They're far too violent to be hobbits as well. I don't know. Hobbits can be quite violent.
Oh, I don't know. The marchers are pretty
violent.
Scary. It's pretty scary sometimes.
Yeah. And there we go. Yeah, they vote with farms. We've had a question as well relating to marchers. So I've been putting the questions that I've seen into a separate thing, but we'll answer this one now. Who's your favourite marcher?
My personal, or are you asking the marchers?
I'm asking you.
Oh, Phineas Smud, obviously.
Oh, Phineas Smud, of course it is.
The only marcher I know. The only one I need to know.
By default, is it?
Yeah.
You know, oh my god, I'm blanking on his name now. Harry Barone's character. Oh, what is his name? I'm so sorry, Harry, if you're here. Someone will drop it in the chat.
Okay, I can only remember Phineas Smith, but I'm sure that he is my favorite.
Yeah, what Lambrook? There we go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know of.
Sorry, Harry.
I know of one.
I'm terrible with names. I apologise. Yeah, I was going to say my favourite marcher is what's her face, the one who's caused all the drama at the moment, but I couldn't remember her name either. The NPC one.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, the one we saw in the Senate. Matilda Fisher, that's the one.
Matilda Fisher.
Excellent.
Yes, that was great, but no, yeah.
That was very fun to watch. It was very fun to be causing mischief in the corner of Senate. We were letting people in through the little hole in Senate. It
was great. It was great seeing marchers storm the Senate as well.
Yeah, amazing.
Such an experience to have them just banging their drums out front, and we're just sort of trapped in there like, oh no, it's about to go down.
Very good, very enjoyable.
Yeah. So
but yeah, that's the first one. That's the first of the 5. We went off on a bit of a tangent. They have deep roots and long memories. Proud of their history and the long rivalries between households. They never forgive a grudge. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. I would have thought, again, the selection of marchers that I know are very laid back. I think I can't see Phineas Smud holding a grudge. Although, actually, he really hates Matilda Fisher.
And he wanted us to curse her, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Probably holds a bit of a grudge.
Yeah, that's privileged knowledge, actually. That's IC content.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, that didn't happen. Sorry.
Well, we didn't do it.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Moving swiftly on. They're fiercely independent, proud, and stubborn. They solve their own problems and stand their ground to defend what is theirs. Talking about when we were demanding cake in the Senate in the chat.
I got a Battenberg out of that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything except the extreme pleasure of watching chaos unfold.
Cakes on the floor everywhere.
Which was fine by me. Cakes rolling away into the night.
Heads and cakes will roll.
They're governed by consent. They choose their leaders. Marchers are led, not ruled. Everyone is born equal and respect is earned, not demanded. And they hold their traditions dearly. This is a land that dislikes change for change's sake. A land comfortable with routine where imperial virtues are just plain common sense. They're big on the virtues.
Which I knew him. But yeah,
What,
absolutely.
the virtues?
Yeah. Common sense
day.
over there, apparently.
One day. Didn't we name them in the last stream?
Between
us?
Maybe.
And what the marchers... Let's go back to the other screen, my bad. What the marchers are not... They're not pagans. The marchers use magic and hard work to tame and control the land. They subjugate it to their will. They don't worship it. The landskeepers draw on many of the visual imagery of druids, but they are a core part of the agricultural marcher society, not a throwback to an earlier age. I haven't seen any, really, anything that might be paganistic.
No.
I
thought that when you read that, I thought it was a bit odd, but maybe because the marchers are just smashing it.
Marchers are smashing the brief. They're making sure they're not having anything pagan.
Yeah.
And the other thing they are not is authentic. Sounds like a bit of an insult, but let's find out further. The Marchers is a low fantasy nation designed to allow people to use the extensive costume resources of the Anarchy, the Wars of the Roses, and the 100 Years' War. However, the Marchers is still a fantasy nation, owing as much to the Wicker Man or Terry Pratchett's Tiffany Aching series.
Ooh. That's funny you said that. I think I spoke to Tom. You got I think Tom did a player event where they had to play a load of marches, right?
Yeah.
Was it the Walk the Longest Path?
Maybe.
Can't remember. And they
we'll find out shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were wearing War of the Roses outfits.
Ah.
Yeah. I recognised the heraldry, and I said about it, and then he was just like, "Yeah, that's yeah." So that goes into that, and it's that theme though. It's that sort of clothing, isn't it? Like it is that era, should I say?
Yeah. And the little quote from the nation. I'm going to do it in my best Marcher accent. Pride in small things, loyalty to great ones. Marcher, marcher!
Marcher. Brilliant.
And that's the marches. But yeah, that will be a very fun one to go through in greater depth because I will be paying particular attention to that one.
And we've got the best marcher to do with us. So.
Spoilers!
Matilda Fisher.
Matilda Fisher, yeah. Anyway, do you want to talk about the league?
It's right if we just have a 2-minute break.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
I'm going to get a drink too, actually.
Yes, and then we'll definitely talk about the league.
We'll chat to chat a bit and then get on with the league.
That's it.
Back in a sec, everyone.
Back in 2 minutes. Bye.
Matt, question.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your favourite Bertrand Hauler?
Saren.
Oh, it's controversial. Do you know who mine is?
Who's that?
It's the chap who brings all of the inner branches their little breakfast bagels. I haven't caught his name yet. He's only just started. Yeah. But when we're in Bertrand Hall, in the chamber of the inner branches, he brings the breakfast bagels.
Is he the same guy who brings the mid-meeting pastries?
Brian the Bagel Boy.
Yeah, Brian the Bagel, they call him.
Yeah. He's actually named the Bagel before he even got the job. So he was like, well, now I'm going to have to bring the bagels.
I think they employed him, and they were like, what's your name? He was like, I'm Brian the Bagel.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we were going to get you to sort out all the oxen stables. And...
but you've already been named.
Yeah, it looks like. Find a better role befitting your name.
Tom's going to update the which Bertrand Hall member are you quiz. That would be cool, because there's a lot of us now since it was first done. I'd like to retake the test. It would be cool to get everyone in chat to take the test as well.
And also, it's like, if you answer yes or no to do you wear trousers, then that's the only category that then selects you as Saren. Yeah. It'd be nice if there was more criteria.
I forgot about that being a question. Excellent.
Right, I guess we go on to the league.
Yes, how many have we done?
Unless, I think we're halfway. Is there anything else in the chat we need to... I'm just thinking, if we try rattle through this, then we can get on to the next bit. Otherwise, we going to drastically run out of time.
I think we're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
So we'll do this and hopefully do the next part, and then next time will be the rest of it.
Yeah, well, let's rattle through and see where we get. Can you use a better picture for a let? I don't think I even had a picture, if I'm honest, Katie. So you're lucky.
I don't remember there being pictures.
Well, you probably didn't get one either. I don't think everyone had pictures. I could be wrong. And
Tom,
so
homework, get on it.
I'm going to carry on with the league. So the league, am I right in thinking they're a bit dotted all over the place as well? So, for example, a lot of the nations tend to be clumped together on the map, whereas the league are a bit dotted around.
Yes.
Because the league sort of...
What territories is it?
They're sort of city-state based, aren't they?
Mm.
So they got Temeshwar, Holberg, Sato, and Sarvos. Am I right in thinking that? But yeah, they're sort of like city folk. There you go. The people of the league are city folk through and through. Competition is fierce. You might fall behind, not because you have stumbled, but simply because someone else is faster. Nobody is given a free ride in the league. They earn their fine lifestyles through hard work and hard dealing. You must seize every opportunity quickly if you wish to rise and become a merchant prince. Nothing great without cost. It's their quote. So, in my opinion and experience, the league tend to just come across quite wealthy. And they got cool outfits. They're quite Venetian themed outfits, aren't they? There you go. You got the photo up. There we go. Which looks really cool. So 5 things to know about the league. Life is a competition, and someone is always keeping score. Citizens of the league love to compete in everything they do. The rules of the game are not to be broken. League society has simple rules, but woe betide those who break them. They are particularly ruthless and with lawbreakers. Sorry. They keep their loyalties close, like the rings on your fingers. Keep your loyalties close. So the league takes loyalty very seriously. Coin counts and everything costs. This is the land of conspicuous consumption, where wealth is power and nothing's worth having is free.
Very much so. We found ourselves in the league not too long ago, didn't we?
We travelled all the way to league. I don't know where even we were.
Me neither. Yeah, it was Temeshwar. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
because I remember talking to someone about the Temesh bar.
Which so fancy league. We went there because we're fancy.
Yeah. Very sober evening for everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah, very too sober, some might say.
Saren had a good time.
I had an extremely good time. Or so I was told. Everything is on show like a mask on your face. Bold, flamboyant action is always the best way to publicise yourselves and your services, but nobody confuses the mask with the real thing. Whatever that means.
Are you saying that the league isn't for you?
Yeah. I said I don't understand the league.
Yeah.
What the citizens of the league are not. They are not popinjays and dandies. While the appearance and charm are important, wit and panache are no substitute for actual deeds. Scratch the surface of the league, and beneath you will find a nation of ruthless, ambitious people, absolutely committed to their goals. Da Vincian inventors. Citizens of the League are imaginative and ingenious. They solve problems with their brains, not their brawn, but the Empire is not a game that supports the invention of new technologies. League characters are audacious rather than inventive.
But we want flight at the Empire.
Yeah, and gunpowder.
Yeah, and houses.
Yeah. Wood and stone walls.
It's beyond comprehension. You know this.
So yeah.
I like the look of the league.
I like the look of the league.
it would be cool to. I don't know about the longevity of us all going to the league, but it would be cool for us to do a weekend of real fancy like clothing and maybe run like a fancy bar or something. I think that would be fun.
I guess that's an argument of non-sanctioned events, is you can go as another player, another character, right?
Yeah, you could technically. Yeah, you go as whoever you want.
I thought about doing that for a few test characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, the league, very fancy people. In my opinion, I think they come across quite wealthy compared to other things or other nations.
Yep.
Or maybe they're just good at showing their wealth. I don't know.
Affluence.
Mm.
Steph says her second choice is now the league, purely due to the fashion. I get that.
Fashion is incredibly cool. Dennis's outfit sold me really. My colours, but like, immediately, yeah, they had a very good outfit.
Yeah,
it was just like the style of the outfit, what I really like. So,
well, and it got attention, which was, I think. They wore the character of Cat,
white and pink, and it was a bright pink, so it was very
striking.
But yeah, the actual the sort of the style of the outfit itself was very nice. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's the league.
Cool.
You got another fun one?
Oh, the Imperial Orcs, another one that we know very little about.
I think I know more about Imperial Orcs than I do Highguard.
You think so? Who's getting Highguard?
Me.
Is it? Excellent. Well, Imperial Orcs, you definitely want to play this at some point, don't you? I know you have strong feelings on it. I've always been interested in doing it. I think the downfall for me would be wearing the mask all the time, and I know there's periods of like you can take the mask off in your tent and stuff, but it would be warm, I think. But I would like to try it at some point, I think.
Yeah,
they've always intrigued me, and all of the orcs that I've spoken to have been a pure treat to interact with. Did you do the league quote, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Missed it.
I think I did. Something about being league, I
think. Probably. You're
nothing
not wrong.
Great without cost.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to the Imperial Orcs. 5 things we should know about them. They're loyal to the core. Our loyalty to our legion, our nation, and our empire makes us who we are. I don't know either way to that. Either the orcs that I mainly interact with is Frith and Owen, whose character name escapes me now.
It's gonna annoy me now.
The extremely fancy ex-Liga has just joined the chat as well.
I was summoned.
I'll think of it. Someone will think of it in a minute.
What's his name? It was right. Anyway, let's carry on and we'll circle back round.
Wreck.
Everyone's
saying it.
Wreck.
Freaking love Frith. Frith is just a treat to interact with. My favourite of him so far, I think, is when he came over and was just like, I see blind.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what had happened, but we were soap eater Frith as well. Yeah, when he won the soap at the Thane's invitation and then ate it because he thought it was a treat to eat. But it was actually just tasty, delicious soap. But yeah, extremely eccentric character for sure. We are citizens. We won the right to be part of this empire, and we are proud of our place in it. I personally, I've seen some of that, but then I see a lot of I can't remember the name of the orc. They're basically like insane. I don't know how else to describe them, but like wander around saying, my ancestors are telling me to kill you.
Isn't that one of their egregores? The mad one.
I'm not sure. Someone will know it in chat.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, someone's saying the egregore, but yeah.
Yeah, Grud. Yeah. Crazy. But really fun to watch. So scary when he's up in your face saying, going to stab you. But fun to watch him say it to other people for sure. We are building a nation. We have a homeland now, but a nation is so much more than lines on a map. So those last 2 points alludes to the fact that they were the last nation to join the Empire, or the most recent, I should say.
Yeah.
And we gifted them Scarsind, I believe.
Which is a Wintermark territory, was given to the Orcs to settle, essentially.
Yeah. So they're keen to become a bigger part of the Empire.
I think they just want to be part of the Empire and recognised as part of the Empire, like any other nation is, which is cool.
War is in our soul. Fighting is spiritual, and it allows us to hear our ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
So they will take to the main battle first. They'll be the first ones onto the field and the last ones to leave. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, every big fight.
Oh, I didn't realise that, but okay. Cool.
Yeah. I'm sure that's the thing. Tom will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they do that every time. Certainly the last time I fought, which was a couple of years ago now. And life is precious. You have just one chance to make your mark. Do not squander it. When we do the Orc episode, again, it will be one that I'll be very keen to hear, because their backstory and look and feel and stuff just fascinates me. So I'm really looking forward to that. A couple of things that they're not traditional orcs. While the Imperial Orcs draw on some ideas found in other settings, they have their own unique culture and background. They are not orcs from the Lord of the Rings or Game Workshop's Warhammer setting. Many elements of those settings do not fit and have been deliberately excluded. Yeah, because they're not basically the orcs that we play when we monster. Which comedy Lord of the Rings orcs, basically, aren't they? No, they're very, on the whole. I think the brief should be that they're quite civilized, much like humans are.
The orcs I've come across are extremely civilized. As in,
the trader orc that we saw was very civilized.
They are almost exactly like normal the nations, apart from they're wearing an orc mask. So yeah. I think they can come across intimidating at times. However, they're not.
Yeah.
From my experience,
generally. And they're not brutal or callous savages. Imperial Orcs are few in number, and if they are to build a nation, they cannot afford to lose warriors every time they fight. They enjoy battle, but they strive to minimize losses, and they take no particular pleasure in killing. And there's a little addendum to this. If you're planning to play an Imperial Orc, please read the species brief as well as this page.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're orcs.
Go check the page out.
Yeah. And their little quote is, "One life, make it count." Which I think is that last one that I've read out, isn't it? Oh yeah, life is precious. You have one chance to make your mark, don't squander it.
Yeah.
That's the Orky boys.
Very cool nation. So we're on to the last couple now, which is Highguard and Dawn. So I'll rattle through Highguard, and then you can tackle Dawn. And then that's the nation's done. And then we'll pick our favourite, which has not been pre-picked ahead of the stream. Highguard, then.
Did we? I don't remember picking one.
Yeah, I said about the other day, can we pick this one because it's cool?
Okay, well, we'll go with it and pretend that I remembered.
Perfect. So, Highguard, the Empire is our destiny. The Highborn are people supremely confident of their own place in history. They revere the highest ideals to epitomize imperial virtues. Probably said that wrong. They reflect the noble obligations of leadership and thereby to embody the very spirit of the Empire. They created the Synod, so that they might stand vigil over the collective soul of the Empire. Their manifest destiny is to drive the barbarians from the land and unite all humankind. They will accept nothing less. That's cool. I never realised that about them. So 5 things to know about the Highborn. There you go, Highborn as well, not High Guard. You can call them Highborn. Maybe they prefer the word Highborn.
Is it like the Freeborn where they?
That's why I said it. Maybe. Don't know.
You need to know when we do the High Guard one. Find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll ask. That's the question to ask. So 5 things to know. We made the Empire. The first Empress was Highborn. She pulled the scattered human nations together and enlightened them to the true faith, which I'm guessing is the way. So are these guys like sort of like spiritual? I don't know how to word this. What's going through my head is like Space Marines, where they're like, "Our faith, brothers." Is this?
I see. Yeah.
These guys are like, you know.
Yeah, like zealots, but not zealots.
Very strong, brother. Yeah. Is that
warrior priests.
Warrior priests.
Perhaps.
Question mark. I'm not saying it is, but that's what I'm getting the vibes off already. So, only actions are virtuous. Thoughts and feelings are never virtuous or vile. It is only the actions that you undertake that demonstrate your worth. The purpose of the past is to inspire the present. We study history not to argue over the fact, but to identify lessons that can inspire us today. That's cool. Virtue and vice are contagious. A virtuous life leads the faithful to further righteous action, but vile behaviour spreads just as easily if not checked. A chapter is bound by spirit, not blood. Amongst the Highborn family ties matters less than shared belief, purpose, or vision. So their chapters are like their houses and halls and stuff, right? Is that right?
Yes.
So what the Highborn are not, they are not zealots or bigots. There are zealots in Highguard, but as a nation they strive to be righteous and lead by example. They are not self-righteous or condemnatory.
So when I said earlier zealots, that was a joke.
Yeah.
They're not zealots.
They are not Christian crusaders. Highguard is sort of what I was saying. Is this what these guys are? Apparently not.
Yeah.
So Highguard is partially inspired by the imagery and themes of the Crusades, but there are major differences between Highborn chapters and Crusader orders. Basically, specifically, Christian iconography is inappropriate here. Also, like a lot of the Crusaders, like just killed everyone and slaughtered city populations, which I guess Highborn don't do because they're nice. Because we're the Empire and we're the good guys.
Are we the good guys?
Yes. So that's Highguard done.
What's their quote?
I said it.
The Empire is our
destiny.
Sorry, you did.
At the start.
Okay, I've been doing it at the end. Whoops.
I messed the format up.
Very professional, as you can see. Just got Dawn to go then.
Yep.
Oh, Dawn. I feel. Do you know how I feel about Dawn? When I think of Dawn, I feel like they are our neighbours or our half brothers and sisters.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's because we know so many people in Dawn.
Oh, I thought you meant as in the nations, comparing the nations. I was like, I don't.
No, when I think about the Dornish, I think of them as closer to us because we know so many Dornish characters. I think. Right, I think that's what it is. And we camped next to each other on the field as well.
Yes, we do.
But Dawn is going to be the next character that I play, thanks to you guys voting last time. So it's only fitting that I talk about them, I guess. This is a nation that eats and drinks glory. Few lands espouse the heroic ideal in quite the same way as the Dornish do. They know that great deeds are eternal.
Yeah.
And that is their quote. Great deeds are eternal. I don't hear them shouting that in Glory Square. Steph, I want to hear you scream "Great deeds are eternal" the next time I see you in the field.
Scream those words.
5 things about Dawn. Nobility is an achievement, not a birthright. Nobility is vaunted in Dawn, but it is a nobility of spirit they admire, not a title that you inherit. So very big on proving yourself worthy of being like higher up the chain. I don't know the chains. I just know there's like yo folk and stuff, and whatever Max is. He's
is it Earl? Is that
Earl? Yes, I think he's an Earl.
Is it? Yeah, I can't remember what they
Yeah.
are.
So I don't know what we're gonna do for my character if everyone's gonna vote like how high his station is.
Top dog, I think.
That could probably go quite badly, could it? Because I'll be like the shit mover or something. A great life leaves a legend. The only thing that remains when you depart this life is the memory of how you lived it. Death is nothing compared to great deeds, which I think about all the time in real life, so I think that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I resonate with that one. Baldwin is a enchanter, a magical earl.
And a senator.
And senator.
It's a busy boy.
Glorious in victory, proud in defeat. The Dornish relish a challenge. That is very true. The amount of things that we've seen going on in Glory Hole Square. These more skilled present those more skilled present an opportunity for glory by defeating them. Those less skilled offer you an opportunity to demonstrate your prowess. You cannot armor the soul. The Dornish do not hide the great passions of the soul. They wear their hearts on their sleeves. Yeah, I have absolutely pretty much all Dornish folk that I've interacted with are very much that way. So I think generally that's something that we see in the field. I don't know if you'd agree. There's been some of the most serious moments in my LARP career has happened in Dornish field, in Castellan camp. You know, like when people are dying.
The last thing on the little Dawn thing is basically our experience recently with Dawn.
Oh yeah, courtship, romance, and tragedy.
Yeah.
The rules of the heart are complex in Dawn. Sometimes love is the greatest challenge. Have you experienced some love with Dawn? Have you?
No, there's big romance stuff going on. Not me personally, but
oh, I see. Yeah.
And tragedy of
extreme tragedy,
and when the unlucky.
Yeah. Rest in
a lot of drama.
Rip in peace to Anduin's kneecaps.
Rip in peace.
And Anduin.
And
oh dear. But yeah, I would say some of the most immersive things have happened in amongst Dawn for me.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, so far. Mm.
A couple of things they're not chivalrous. They won't hold the door open for you. Terrible, rude. Dornish nobility are always intensely competitive. They don't. Oh, that is actually the next sentence. I was just being an idiot. They don't open doors for anybody, male or female. Dornish women are independent and as obsessed with glory as their male counterparts. So, quite literally, they're not chivalrous to anyone. They are not required to be honourable. The Dornish obsession is with triumph and renown. It does not demand a generous spirit. That's Dawn. Did I do their... yeah, great deeds are eternal.
Well, a lot longer than we thought we would take, but we've done a slight deep dive than last time into the nations. Still very brief.
It's not... personally, it's taken us about the time I thought it was going to take to do the nations. Which is fine.
I guess hopefully that's given a bit more of an idea of the nations briefly, and obviously you can go in and check the pages out yourself, but we thought we couldn't really just skim past all the nations when going into character creation. That's why we've
I don't think we should really put a huge time pressure on us to get through this, other than maybe we can do it over 2 episodes, do the whole thing, but I don't think we're even going to get skills done in the next 27 minutes, but we'll see what we do.
yeah, we'll see how we go. I think we can give it a good go.
Yeah, but I'm happy for it to go into a couple of episodes. And again, once we have done the 10 different episodes of Nation Breakdowns, you'll be able to find them in a handy playlist on
At your fingertips.
on my YouTube, yeah, which will be in the links below. Please like and subscribe.
So I asked previously if our made-up character could be a freeborn Corsair.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we're going to run with. It doesn't really have any impact on what we're doing, to be honest. That's another thing, I guess. We're going to go into skills and stuff next, right? So we've chosen a nation. Skills aren't linked to certain nations. Whatever nation you go as, you have access to all the same skills.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty obvious, but I thought it was worth saying.
Well, you made me think about it, so it might not be obvious. I did think, are they?
Yeah.
But yeah, they are. Yeah.
So I don't mind taking combat skills. I'll just explain combat skills, and I'll be as quick as I need. I guess you don't really need to overly go into it.
You want to do combat and heroic, yeah, because they sort of tie in.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. So skills are things you purchase via XP points. You start off with 12. Let me have a look.
11 or 12, I think.
11 or 12. Yeah, 11 or 12. You'll start off with, and then you can purchase skill points. You don't have to spend all your skill points before your first event. What some people do, they'll spend a couple on something they know they want to do, and then they'll bank the rest. And then when you're at an event, you might decide what you want to do with them and spend them. I've got a few stacked, like in the bank currently, because there's things I want to be purchasing.
It's
when I can afford it.
It's 8 XP to start with, just to correct ourselves.
Yeah,
before we put out content that you get this extra XP.
My account's saying I've got 11 XP, but it's because I've got 3 banked from a current character. So yeah, so a base character will start off with 8. That's all you need to know for now, I guess. So spending skill points. Combat skills we'll cover first. So you've got the thrown ability that costs 1 skill point, and you may throw weapons of 8 inches or larger, provided that it's passed, has been passed for safety. For throwing. So you can't throw certain weapons that've got cores in them or something like that. So,
you couldn't throw a halberd, for example.
No. You cannot throw a shuriken, rocks, or tiny throwing knife shorter than 8 inches long. So
but you can throw rocks larger than 8 inches.
Apparently. Also, I guess if it's really small, you don't notice it hitting you, right? Because it's not got a core in it. It's quite lightweight.
Yeah. Actually, 8 inches. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty
8 inches.
Pretty sizable rock.
Yeah. So that's thrown. You can just throw things, okay? So you can't do it without throwing. Otherwise you get a slap on the wrist and pull off. You got ambidexterity. This skill allows you to simultaneously wield 2 weapons up to 42 inches long. So a standard sword and stuff is up to 42 inches. So that's why it's saying you can have 2 swords essentially. So you can have 2 swords, 2 axes. You can be going at it. That's 1 skill point. Weapon Master is 2 skill points. This allows you to wield one-handed spears, great weapons, polearms, and pikes. So essentially, that's anything over 42 inches.
Yes.
So longer weapons. That's 2 points. You've got Marksman, which allows you to use a bow or crossbow. That's 4 points, so it's quite expensive. But that's 4 points. All missile weapons require both hands to shoot, and you get to use Impale automatically, which is a special cool. You don't need to shout Impale. So cools are something we go onto separately, but that's something you use with weapons. This come automatically with bows and arrows, and you don't have to call ahead of time that you're using Impale, for example. So yeah, that's Marksman. Again, you've got bows and your crossbows and stuff. They get checked at a site. They've got to be fit a certain criteria, which is on the website. And then That's how many have we got left? Oh yeah, okay. I thought it was going wrong then. So then the next one is shield. So for 2 points, you can use a shield. So any character can use a buckler up to 15 inches in diameter. Anyone can use that. But if you use by the shield skill, you can use a bigger shield like that. So you need a skill. There is, so that's 2 points. There is a maximum size of shields as well. That's on the website. I'm looking at it right now. There's a link you can click to go tell you. So that's what the shield skill is. You've got endurance, which is 2 points again. This cost, so you can buy this multiple times, and it increases by 1 skill point each time you buy it, and that gives you additional hit, so additional HP. So to start with, it's 2 points. Next time you buy it, 3 points. Next time you buy it, it's 4 points. And it gives you an extra HP. Next skill is Fortitude, which is 1 skill point. This goes up by 1 point each time you purchase it as well. And it basically will add bleed out times to your character. So your base bleed out, if you're down to 0 hits and you're on the floor and you're bleeding out, it's 3 minutes 30. If you've got 1 point in Fortitude, it's now 4 minutes 40. If you've got 2 minutes into 2 points into Fortitude, it's now 6 minutes 50. If you've got 3 points into Fortitude, it goes up to 9 minutes 60. I'm guessing that goes on and on and on.
Yeah. So for people who might be extremely new to LARP and Empire, the bleed out time is what you start counting in your head once you've lost all of your hit points and you're on the ground.
Sorry, yeah, and then once you've bled out, you're dead. You're gone.
That's it.
And then you've got Dreadnought as well. Dreadnought is 1 point, 1 skill point. You gain 1 additional hit provided you are wearing armor made of steel or similar materials that covers the torso and 1 other location. So essentially, if you're heavily armored in heavy armor, you just gain an additional hit point, and that costs you 1 point in for Dreadnought. So I guess it's a cheap way of getting 1 extra hit point, because otherwise you've got to use endurance, which is 2 points, assuming you're wearing heavy armor.
Yeah, I think it's for people that want to do a tank build.
Yeah. Again, I'm pretty sure we thought when we spoke the other day, that's a fairly new ability, because I don't ever remember seeing that last time I created a character.
It doesn't mean anything for me to say I don't remember it, but I don't remember it the last time I made a character, but it could have always been there. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. So that's combat skills. Now we're going to go on to heroic skills, which kind of goes into combat skills because heroic is used for fighting.
Yeah.
During fighting.
Dreadnought was new for 2022.
There we go.
Because of the armor change.
Yes. There we go. So it is a new skill. We did get it right.
Heroic. We did it. We knew stuff.
We did it. Heroic skills are linked to combat skills. So we're going to heroic skills. So heroic skills, to use and purchase heroic skills, you need to buy the base skill, which is hero. So you must purchase the hero skill before you can take any other hero skills. You cannot use heroic weapon skills with mage implements. So a lot of heroes skills you need to be hitting people with swords and stuff. Maybe. So I guess you can't use that with a wand or a staff as a mage.
Yeah. I guess that's only for the ones that require contact.
Yes, but we'll go through that now, I guess.
Yeah.
So the first one is hero. It costs you 2 points, and this allows you to purchase hero points.
Which I believe you get 2. Do you start with?
Yes. So when you buy hero, you get given 2 hero points, and you use these hero points a bit like mana, where you use these hero points to use a hero ability. And they recharge every day, right? Or things you can do in game to recharge them.
Yeah.
The next one is extra hero points. So you can, for 1 skill point, you can buy a additional hero point, and that increases per purchase. So it'd be 1 point to start with, then it'd be 2 points to start with. So it's quite expensive, I guess, to buy lots of hero points. Because but if you want to, you can. Cleaving strike. So for 1 point, skill XP point. It requires a weapon between 24 inches and 84 inches long. You can expend one of your hero points, and to call Cleave, and Cleave basically damages a limb that's unarmored, right? Or leather armored.
Yeah, I think it will take off anything that's light or medium.
Yeah.
Or mage.
So Cleave's great for hitting legs and stuff like that, because then people can't run away if they're not heavily armored. Or arms, they'll lose a way to fight.
Yep. Or if you're cleaved in the torso or the back, you are immediately down.
Yeah.
Like that what happened in my first ever fight. I went in with 2 hit points and no armor. Got cleaved in the back and survived.
Cleaving is, I think, it's a good option for Imperials, because quite often the monstering orcs are in medium armor. Quite a bit in heavy, but quite a lot in medium. So you're going to get a lot out of Cleave. If you're fighting as a monster against Imperials, you're going to get nothing out of Cleave, I find, because everyone's in heavy armor, from my experience.
Yeah.
So next point is Mortal Blow. So it costs you 1 skill point to purchase this. It requires a weapon of between 48 and 60 inches long. It requires a fizz rep of a sword, axe, hammer, or mace. And basically it allows you to expend a hero point to call Impale. And Impale, similar to the archery stuff, it can break through. Is it medium then? Impale? Should have looked this up, really. I thought it would have said it in here, but I think Cleave is light armor, Impale's medium armor.
No, Cleave is light and medium. Cleave goes through medium, like Tom says.
And Impale does.
Impale pins. Does it pin you to the ground?
Impale. If you take a Impale to the chest unarmored, you're instantly out of hits.
Ah.
Impale has the same effect as Cleave. I'm guessing it's just 1 armor up.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it said or if you said, I did miss it. But to take, you talking about Mortal Blow, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have Weapons Master.
You may only use this skill. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Because that's based on the length of the weapons. So it's 48 inches to 60 inches, which is over a standard blade length. So yeah, good shout. So yes, got to have Weapons Master. So yeah, that's kind of like Dane axes and stuff, or 2-handed hammers or maces and stuff, or great swords work well, I think.
Yeah.
You cannot use a flail, spear, or other pole arms regardless of length.
What, for Impale?
Yeah.
You can't use a spear?
So it says you cannot use this skill with a flail, spear, or other pole arms, regardless of length. But yeah, for the nitty gritties, just go check the wiki. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Get caught up in this. Next one is Mighty Strike Down. So it costs 1 skill point. It requires a weapon between 60 and 80 inches long. Brackets, Weapons Master.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can expend a hero point to call Strike Down. Strike Down is if you call Strike Down and hit someone, they've got to hit the deck. So they've got to go down. I think they've reworded it now where you've got to go down on your back. Because I think beforehand it was you go on your back. If you can't quite do that, you go onto 1 knee.
Yeah.
Which I've done before. But now they're saying, no, you can't do that.
You've got to fully get down.
Originally it was worded, if it's not safe to do so, you just take a knee and count for like 5 seconds, staying on your knee, and then you can kind of get back up. Whereas now they've said, no, you've got to be on your back. You've got to sort of be struck down.
Yeah.
This is great for kind of punching holes in places. If you can have a couple of people hit strike downs on a few people, knock them down, and then you can kind of flood that gap. So strike downs, I think, is one of the more useful ones. We got Relentless, which is the next hero point, which is 2 skill points. Effects that would ruin your limbs are less effective when used against you. By spending a hero point and engaging in at least 5 seconds of appropriate roleplay, such as slamming your arm against a tree, shaking your head to clear the pain, or loudly exclaiming that you feel no pain, you can regain the use of one of your limbs that has been ruined by a cleave or an impale. if you make an attack while using the skill, the attempt fails. You do not lose the hero point, but your roleplay must be begun again. So yeah, you can kind of shake off an impale or cleave by using relentless.
Mm-hmm.
Unstoppable is 2 skill points. You can use 5 seconds of appropriate roleplay to extend a hero point to restore 3 hits. So if you're really beat up, you can be like, I'm unstoppable. Hang on.
Can you use it at 0 hits? No, it isn't unstoppable for if you lose all your hits.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
Yeah.
anyway, you can restore 3 hit points. You cannot take any offensive action or move from the spot during the 5 seconds of appropriate roleplay to use the skill. This skill can be used when you're reduced to 0 hit points, but only
In addition
if
to any other time.
only if used as soon as you fall over, which I've definitely not seen in the field. How many times have you seen people just sat there for like minutes and they go, I'm unstoppable, and run off? So yeah, this is very common to see where people go charge in, smash, 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 get cut down, and then they'll just spring back up and be like, "I'm unstoppable," get 3 hit points back and either carry on fighting or get out of there. So
Yeah.
unstoppable is a very handy one. Again, if you're running and you get cut down behind enemy lines, you can kind of bounce back up and get gone.
And similar to strike down, you have to put ass to floor as part of the newer updates that they've made.
That's it. Yeah, sorry, I was saying back, but yeah, it's bum. So unstoppable. I won't go too much into it, but we've just explained what it is, so you kind of get up. There is other things.
Yeah, and again, we're going to do a fight
dive
episode where we'll go into these in more detail than what we are right now.
So stay with me. Another 1 skill point. If you so you may restore 1 hit to a bleeding companion and stop them bleeding to death by spending a hero point, performing at least 5 seconds of uninterrupted roleplay, encouraging them to get back to their feet. So this is quite common to see in monstering and stuff. If someone's low on health or I think they're down, if they're bleeding out, you can literally run up to them like, "Stay with me," and give them a shake, and you give them a hit point back. But I think you've got to make contact. And it does not restore the use of a limb that has been cleaved or impaled.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to make contact with them. You can't shout at them. And then the last one is get it together. For 1 skill point, you may restore 3 hits to a companion who still has hits remaining by extending expending hero points. So this is one you can run up to. Again, you've got to make contact, but even you run up to them like, "Get it together, man!" And they'll get 3 hit points. So stay with me is a bit of a revive. Get it together as a heal your mate up, and they're all obviously teammates. You can't do it on yourself.
Yes, very powerful combined. If you have both of those.
Yeah. I mean, if you ran up to a mate, picked them up, and got them together, then that's 4 hit points they've got.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you use 2 hero points, but if it saved the life of someone, it's worth it. And obviously, there's ways of getting multiple hero points. You only start with 2, but you can purchase more, or some. I'm sure there's items out there that give you more.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's heroic skills done.
Nice. I think we could probably get through the last 4 sections.
We speed run it.
Yeah.
These are all fairly speedable.
Yeah. I'll talk about magic skills. Do you want me to do magic and surgical?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice and straightforward. Magician is very similar to hero, in that you take magician and you get 2 mana. I don't have the wiki here with me, unfortunately.
It's 2 points, and you will get.
Might be 4.
I think it's 4.
2 or 4.
Yeah.
4 mana standard, Sam says.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't say right there. Yes, you get 4.
And then you can take extra mana, like you can take extra hero points. I think that adds 2 though.
Yes, 2 additional personal mana per day each time you purchase a skill. So you got personal mana and crystallized mana. Being a magician also allows you to use personal crystallized mana.
Yeah. I am going to have to get the information up, otherwise I'm just going to be just reading silly things, aren't I? Let's do it this way. Pop that out. There we go. Yeah, so Where were we? Extra mana.
Which you've done basically, and that's a cost of 1 skill point for extra mana, and that a bit like hero points, it increases 1 per.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about how do you get? Oh, you have to take extra spells to get the spells from the list, which we'll go through. But with magician, you get access to operate portal, so you can open up the Sentinel Gate for the big fights. Technically, I believe any magician can do that.
I heard something about that. I can't remember now, but yep.
I think technically anyone can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You also have access to the Hall of Worlds, which is the magical realm, I guess, that you have to open a portal to get to, so only magicians can get there, unless you're lucky enough to have that thing that lets non-magicians go. Can't remember the name of it. Some kind of key. Pauper's key. There we go.
Pauper's key.
Yes, you can open portals. You can cast detect magic on stuff.
So magic items, I think you can find out about them.
Yep, and I think you can create bonds between people and magical items, and also break them as well. And then extra spell. You can take additional spells. There is a list of spells that you can take. So you get create bond, detect magic, and operate portal as standard. But then you can take heal, which very self-explanatory. You're able to magically heal people on the battlefield, as well as people that can use hero points to heal. You can do it magically, as well as with herbs and stuff, which we'll get onto. You can take mend, so you're able to mend shattered weapons. Night pouch, which I have never looked into. I don't know if you have.
That's a night pouch is where you make a bag that no one can look in.
Yes, cannot be accessed by anyone except the caster.
Yep. So you can put all your coin in there.
Which is cool. Purify, which removes venom and weakness, but not more powerful poisons or curses. So only venom or weakness, but that is very useful. We do see venom quite a lot on the field, I've noticed. Then we've got Restore Limb, which if you've been cleaved, then Restore Limb is very handy because you can restore it. And Voice for the Dead, which is one of the most powerful spells, apparently. But again, I've not really looked into it. You enable a corpse that is still being fizz-repped to speak. Oh, okay, so that's for when you're on, if you're on the battlefield.
I didn't know those spells. I didn't realise half those spells were a thing, so that's really cool.
No, I didn't until I've just read them then.
Unless there maybe a few of them are newish.
Yeah, I guess Voice for the Dead is the opposite of the ritual that you cast, Whispers Through the Black Gate, that because someone has to have been dead for I don't know how long for that to work. This one, it only works if they died in the last 10 minutes, which is cool. You may also cast this spell on a ghost or other undead creature that otherwise lacks the ability to speak. Very cool, but it's just something I guess that we haven't come across ourselves in Empire so far. So that's the list of other spells that you can take. And then we move on to the more offensive magic. So if you take Battle Mage, it's going to cost you 2 points. It allows you to cast spells with a staff. And it allows you to wear mage armor. So if you're a magician and you want to go into battle, you can't wear regular. I don't think you can wear regular mundane armor.
You can do. You just can't cast magic in regular armor.
Yeah. So you're gonna. I mean, you could just fight with a staff, but you're not a very magic-y magician if you're not doing spells. So to allow for that, you can take mage armor, which I'll briefly tell you what you get. You get an extra 2 hits, and you only have to cover yourself in 3 locations, but it has to include either the chest, the shoulders, or the waist, with the fizz rep of the armor. So Lucan generally would wear a belt, headband, which counts, and band braces or wrist guards, and that would be the mage armor. So that's cool. Any character that's purchased the magician skill can use a rod or a wand as a mage's implement to touch a target and cast a spell as well as a staff. No, that's if you're a magician, but then if you want to use an actual staff, you need battle mage to cast spells. So it's kind of like weapons master. And then it hasn't got where's the list of spells? Like offensive spells. My brain's having an absolute lapse.
It's weird that it doesn't have some of these written in here.
Like where's shatter and stuff on the? Ah, here we go. Offensive spells. I hadn't gone down far enough. So offensive spells, you got things like shatter, so you can break people's weapons and shields. Paralysis, pretty self-explanatory. I don't know how long you're paralyzed for if you get hit with paralysis.
I think it's 30 seconds, but that's a complete guess, just from a few Battlefield experiences I've had.
Let's have a quick...
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah. They can talk or drink a potion if they're fed one, but they cannot move or take any other actions. That's cool. Repel, I think you have to move back 10 meters?
10 feet.
10 feet?
I think that's what Sam's saying.
Most things are 10 seconds or 10 feet of movement, yeah. It's because I've clicked on shatter, so that's not going to tell you how far to go back with a repel, is it? There we go.
Maybe 20 feet. I don't know.
They must move away at a brisk walk or faster for 10 seconds or until they've retreated at least 20 feet. If they cannot move away from the caster due to the presence of an obstacle, they must move as far as they can and then be pressed against the obstacle for the remainder of the 10 seconds. While pressed against the obstacle, they may talk, but may take no other actions, including blocking with a shield or parrying a blow. That's cool. If you just repel someone into a wall, you can just wail on them.
So that in the fort, you just pin, like if you had a mass repel, just pinned a load of people against the barrier, and then you just run up to them, slap them.
It would be like that fairground ride that spins really fast, and everyone's like, stuck to the wall.
Although I'm sure no one knows that's a part of the rule to play in that. So
yeah. Then you got some of the, I'd say less. I don't see these very often on the field, but I think Sam's got a lot of them. You've got Empower. So you may allow the target to make a single heroic call based on the weapon that they're using within 10 seconds. So it basically gives them the power to do hero stuff without having the points. Entangle is similar to Paralysis, I think. You just get stuck where you are, but you can move around and...
you can still use your swords.
Defend and parry.
Your feet are fixed, right?
Yeah. So it's like entangling roots or whatever. If anyone's like come across them in things like D&D or World of Warcraft and stuff. What else do we have? Venom and weakness. I always get these confused, but Venom reduces your bleed time from 3 minutes to 30 seconds. So if you get venomed and then downed, you have got 30 seconds to sort that out, or have someone sort it out for you, I should say. But if you take Fortitude, that does help somewhat, even if you're venomed, I think.
Yeah, I think it gives additional 10 seconds for venom.
Yeah. And then weakness stops you from using any mana or hero skills, or any magic items, or activating magic items, I should say, that aren't always on. That stops all of that, so that can be quite damaging if you're relying heavily on skills.
Well, we've had it recently with a battlefield with miasma all over it, which was mass weakness for like the whole battlefield. So then a load of... I think Sam went on it where he just couldn't really use much magic.
Yeah, so that's this offensive stuff that you can do as an offensive mage. There's a lot of stuff to get through, isn't there? Realm lore, that's a whole thing in itself. So there's basically 6 realms of magic. Everyone can dip into either one of them or multiple. If you've got the XP, you can do it. And then,
if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail at all about them, but each one has a long list of rituals that you can cast. But when we do our Meiji Magical episode, we'll break down each of those probably.
But you need to be subscribed to one of those laws to have access to those rituals.
Yeah, you can only do the ritual of the law that you're spec'd into.
Yeah.
And only within, if you're doing group stuff, it can only be within the coven that you're in.
And you can sync multiple points into realm laws because that advances your rank in that realm.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, something we can go into.
Yeah, so that's magical skills in a nutshell. We're getting to the point where it probably seemed like we didn't know much about that one, but these last 3 I have not dipped into at all. So we'll have a quick look at them. I'll just do surgical, and then if you want to finish up with the last 2, Matt.
Quick skims, all we need, isn't it?
Yeah, surgical is all things healing, basically. So you've got we always have debate on how to say it. Chirurgeon? Chirurgeon? I always think of it like surgeon, but it's chirur.
Yeah, chirurgeon sounds good.
Yeah. You have to take this skill similarly like magician and hero. You have to take this before you can do any other surgical skills. But it allows you to treat a character who's bleeding to death. If you spend at least 30 seconds of appropriate role playing, you can bring them back to one hit point. So that's pretty good. I think Rydar did that as an intro to healing people, but I think he's now a full physic, which is the next point. And you can do a whole load of stuff with physic. You can use herbs to treat characters, and there's a whole bunch of herbs that we won't go into now. You can, I think you can pretty much cure things like cleave and impale and stuff if you spend 2 minutes of role playing. Without the use of herbs, or using specific herbs will significantly reduce the time to heal them. Apothecary is the ability to let you make potions and such from herbs. We have a couple of apothecaries in our hall. It gives you the ability to mix all 5 of the apothecary potions automatically, and you can take extra recipe for additional potions. That was pretty straightforward. That was a fast one.
And you can buy extra. Oh, have you said extra recipes?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Right, I'll go on to crafting then. Let's blitz it. So, crafting goes to artisans. You got to buy the artisan skill. That's going to cost points, 4 points in total, and that allows you to make items. Again, artisan was something we'll go into because this is a world in itself. But you can create items in downtime. You basically, given the resources, get items and get them in the game, and then you can sell them or do what you want with them. So for 4 points, you can make become an artisan. You have so many slots you can make in between downtime. So I think it's 4 or something like that. So you can then use XP to buy extra item slots. Sorry, items. So yeah, you can only know so many items, at once. You can only know so many items you can make. So buying an extra item allows you to have that extra sort of bit of knowledge, bit of room for a recipe. So that's what artisans are. Really handy stuff they can make. And then I guess we'll finish on the easy one, which is religion.
Yeah. Sorry, some of the stuff on the artisan list is very cool. I'm looking forward to deeper dive into that. Maybe with our resident artisan.
I haven't done it any justice by quickly skimming it, but artisans really... Everyone I know uses some sort of crafted artisan item. I do. Everyone does. They're
Mhm.
really big in the game, important. So yeah, we're going to finish on religion skills. So to be religious, to be like a priest or something like that, where you use religious skills. You so that's slightly different, isn't it?
You got to be dedicated.
I think dedication is a skill itself, but
Well, it doesn't let you do anything else unless you're dedicated.
oh, okay. The dedication skill is a prerequisite for every other religious skill. Yeah, you're right. By taking the dedication skill, you can choose to begin play dedicated to one of the 7 virtues. Priests who are not dedicated to one of the 7 virtues, called priests of the way, they can still use all religious skills, but their ability to use the anointing, consecration, and hallow skills are significantly limited. So I don't know why there's just not a list of skills, but I guess this is down. The skills themselves are actual things. So yeah, for 2 points you buy dedication, so you can dedicate people to the way, to a certain virtue. You can, for 1 point, you can learn the skill anointing, where you can anoint people. Again, it's there we go. So anointing. By anointing a person, the priest creates a potent personal aura on them, drawn from their virtue. An anointing provides 2 key benefits. Firstly, it produces role-playing effect, which will influence the way the recipient acts. Secondly, any personal aura will also provide a source of spiritual strength to overcome a malign role-playing effect. Cool. Consecration. Ceremony that teaches priests how to use their Lao to invoke the aura to create a place of spiritual contemplation. So, consecration is sort of making a area of effect a buff, debuff type thing, is it not? So you can
consecration, yeah. So
yeah,
the area of effect, like that they usually put on the artisans, is a consecration.
Yeah, I think Bailey wants to do it to our camp,
which would be cool.
Exorcism. Exorcism is believed to be one of the oldest ceremonies practiced by humans, and the elements of performance predate both the Empire and the Way. Exorcism can be used to drive off any unwanted spiritual presence, such as possessing spirit, ghost, or similar entity. I can't think of how to reference that from our experiences. I know there was talks of it happening at our last event, and I can't remember anything about it. But
no, I don't.
I think Bailey was almost asked to do something along the lines of doing an exorcism. Excommunication. This, from memory, is... So excommunication prevents the victim from using any ceremony that requires Liao. So I guess if you excommunicate a priest, they can't do any priesty stuff anymore.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that existed.
From a brief skim. Again, we're going to go super into this on our...
Yeah, so some of the deeper things that we have gaps of knowledge on, definitely we're going to be learning alongside you guys in chat when we have somebody on who do know what's going on.
So nearly last one. Hallowing. So by hallowing an object, the priest creates a potent item aura drawn from their virtue. So you can hallow an item to a certain virtue, and then that will have a role-playing effect around it. So maybe there's an artifact in Birchen Hall, and our priest decides to hallow it, and it brings some sort of role-playing effect of you feeling really happy all the time, or say it, really proud of our ancestors. That's hallowing is cool. I've seen it done a couple of times, people using them. People doing it. Insight as well. So through the powers of this ceremony, a priest can perceive the aura that surrounds a living people and gather information about spiritual effects. There is some disagreement among the priests as to whether they are seeing what they are seeing is the soul of an individual, the core of their essential nature that persists from one life to the next, or simply some spiritual penumbra that surrounds thinking.
I'm going to ask Eldrick what he thinks it is when I see him
So,
next.
insight, I guess, is that a bit like detect magic, where you're trying to detect an aura that's been placed on someone, perhaps? Because you
Think
can
so.
play part of the priest stuff is placing auras on people.
Yeah, I assume
Um,
it shows you like anointings and stuff.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering. And then the very last one is testimony. Through the ceremony, a priest can place powerful, enduring marks on a living subject, which are visible to the insight ceremony. So this is it here. Look. So you can place something on someone that can be found via insight. The way he teaches these marks can affect a person's passage through the labyrinth and even potentially influence their next life as they are reborn. Some priests disagree with this assessment, however, pointing out that there are few, if any, reliable reports of children born already bearing the marks of their past life testimony. Surely the marks were truly indelible? Everyone would have them. Right, okay. So it's sometimes used as part of funerary rites. It is believed that even if the soul is not present, it may still have an effect on the subject's passage through the labyrinth and is performed within a day of the dead person's demise. That's cool. So is that... Testimony creates a spiritual mark on the character's aura or soul, or testimony may consist of 2 words. I'm wondering when you would use that. But that sounds cool. So yeah, that's the religious skills. Jesus, what? That was loud. So
yeah, the religious part of Empire is absolutely massive, and it's definitely something I want to lean into more. I think we said on the last episode that it's as a whole we're a bit light on the old religion, aren't we?
yeah,
What I'd like is for Katie and Bailey to, really like go hard on religion and make us like do like icy religious stuff. That would be cool.
Yeah. No, definitely. But yeah, again, a very brief skim of it all, but that was the point. But just to kind of give an idea on what your skills options are. So there is quite a few, and obviously you can see you have 8 skill points when you start. Like before you start, very slightly sort of focusing into one tree, you've used all your points up. So yeah, there's no way you're going to be a full scale mage and a surgeon and a priest, right? It just ain't never happening.
Yeah,
there's so much. There's so many trees you can go down, which is good. Like it's nice having tons of options that you've got to really think between. You can probably it's
it's
really
also probably important to mention the apprentice feature.
Go on.
So you don't have to take any skills at all when you make a character and go for the first time. You can apprentice with somebody and you can do the things that they are doing without having taken the skill to see if you like it.
I didn't know that was a thing, so I'm glad to mention.
I don't know how it works mechanically, but it's definitely a thing. And also, again, we mentioned it last time, but PD are very welcoming in the sense that if you go in on like, I want to be a mage, I want to do rituals, and then you go to your first event and you're like, I hate it, I want to be a fighter, you can just drop them an email and be like, look, I've just done my first event, I hated all the things I've done, please can I respec? And they'll be like, yeah, sure.
And if you absolutely hate it so much you don't want to do that, you just make a new character.
That's true. That is also true. Yeah, you could just retire your character and make a new one.
Yeah. But yeah, like there's just little things you want to tweak. Just email PD and they'll happily do it for you. They're great.
Well, you'll see in the next episode, but there's like a backstory section that you can amend. You
can play with. So I guess we're going to finish off the second half in the next stream episode.
Yeah, it's kind of a good. We kind of got to a good spot because the next 2 sections are something that we need to have known what we were going to do anyway. So you need to have known which nation you want to be and what skills you're going to use, because we've got to choose things like territories and whether we want a congregation and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a good spot to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do part 2 of episode 2, episode 2.5.
2A and 2B.
Yeah. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's been good. So I guess until next time, have a good one, gang.
Thank you very much, and see you next time.